Gracias, gracias por venir, es un honor para mí, la verdad, estar ahorita con todos ustedes y contar con la presencia de Rosario Marín, de mis amigos, de cada uno de ustedes. Y mi amiga Belén me hace el favor de traducir un poquito al inglés para que todos entendamos lo que estamos hablando.
Thank you very much for being here today. I want to thank you all for attending this meeting. Thank you to Ms. Rosario Marín and all of you for being here. I would hate to translate so everyone can understand.
La Cámara Hispana de Addison, el año pasado iniciamos y estamos queriendo empoderar a los hispanos en el norte de Texas, en este caso aquí en Addison, de lo que podemos aportar aparte de negocio, también cultura y también tradiciones latinas.
We started with the chamber last year, and what we were intending to do is to empower the Latin people here in the north of Texas and show what we are able to do besides business, to show our culture and all our good customs and manners.
Cuando una persona tiene una idea y la tiene bien fija, siempre va a haber canto de sirenas, siempre va a haber distracciones que van a hacer que uno pierda ese enfoque.
When someone has a focus on an idea, there will always be issues coming out that will try to make you lose that focus.
¿Por qué cuando estamos niños, cuando somos jovencitos, nos dejan jugar, nos dejan ver televisión? En el tiempo mío pues era blanco y negro, pero no había tanto internet ni mucho menos. Pero a donde quiero llegar es lo siguiente: ¿por qué no preparamos a nuestros jóvenes para que sean nuestros líderes?
Whenever we are kids, they just let us play and watch TV. There were no internet understanding. So what he wants to me is, why don't we get our children, the young people, get prepared and study to be leaders.
Lo curioso del caso que a los toreros, que mi amigo Carlos Gallo sabe mucho de toros, desde jovencito empieza uno a meterse al ruedo. En el box igual, desde los 13, 14 años. ¿Por qué no empezar a preparar a los nuevos hispanos, a los nuevos mexicanos, latinoamericanos, que ya nacieron en este país, para empezar a poder tener posiciones de cambio?
We should start preparing the young people, Hispanic people, Mexicans, or Latin American people that are already born in this country, to starting to be the next leaders to the change.
Hace un año comenté yo mi sueño que tenía yo, nada más tengo una hija, la idea que yo tenía sobre mi hija, y lo comenté a 3 conocidos, porque no son mis amigos.
Last year I was talking to 3 people I know about the dream I have, dream for my daughter, and I just have one daughter.
Y resulta que me criticaron que porque yo quería ver en ella lo que yo no podría lograr. Y me dio risa, porque eso es mentira. Cada uno de nosotros, cada uno de ustedes que tenga un hijo, no es que quiera uno manipular a los hijos, simplemente es que así como los enseñamos a cepillarse los dientes o a usar la cuchara, necesitamos enseñarlos también qué posicionamiento pueden tener en el mundo.
They made fun of me because I said I wanted to see in her what I wouldn't be able to do. And what I say is that if we teach them how to brush their teeth and understand, we can teach them what they can be able to do and where they can get to.
Por esa razón, hoy para mí es un día muy especial, la verdad muy contento, porque mi hija de emigrante, nacida en México, habla inglés, que su papá no, pero ella sí. Y lo bonito es esto, que cuando le comenté que si me hacía el favor de ella ser quien presentara a nuestra oradora principal, nuestra speaker, nuestra invitada, se emocionó mucho, leyó la biografía y se identificó en muchas cosas. Entonces, la verdad, me da mucho gusto presentarles a mi hija, Ruby López, quien va a presentarnos a nuestra oradora principal.
It's a very special day for me because I asked my daughter if she would do me the favor to introduce today our main speaker, and she was really, she was feeling excited about that, and she started reading the bio, and she's the one who will be introducing Ms. Rosario Marín today. We can just stay in this room.
Hello. It is a great honor for me to present our speaker today. She is a great role model for those who have been brought here at a young age like me, proving that we can go through barriers and has demonstrated that with study and perseverance we can fulfill many accomplishments. Rosario Marín is a compassionate mother, dedicated public official, and consummate advocate for the disadvantaged who served for 22 years at a local, state, and national levels. In addition, she is the author of Leading Between Two Worlds. She is currently president of Marín & Marín LLC and an internationally sought-after inspirational speaker. Ms. Marín worked for Old Republic Title Company in the Default Management Services Division as the Vice President for Business Relations. She oversaw the effort to expand into new markets and government contacts. Previously, she served in Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's cabinet as Secretary of the State and Consumer Services Agency from 2006 through March 2009, where she oversaw the state's civil rights enforcement, consumer protection, and the licensing of 2.4 million Californians in more than 255 different professions. The agency oversees the procurement of more than nearly $9 billion worth of goods and services, and the management and development of the state's real estate, oversaw the 2 state employee pension funds, the collection of state taxes, and programs managing the hire of state employees, in addition to the administration of 2 state museums and a state park. Secretary Marín chaired the Building Standards Commission, the Victims' Compensation and Government's Claim Board, the government's Green Action Team, and the Mexican-American Veterans Memorial Committee. During her tenure, the state building codes were updated in record time and published the first in the nation's green building standards. The government mandates to have 25% of the state procurements to go to small businesses were attained and surpassed, and she led the development and implementation to Plan Green, the 1,600 state buildings by the year 2015. She hosted 18 foreclosure prevention workshops throughout the state, bringing together financial institutions, consumer advocate, government officials, and the media to reduce the number of foreclosures in the state of California. The model was replicated by other governmental and nonprofit entities. She was the chairwoman for California's Integrate West Management Board from 2004 to 2006. Ms. Marín presided over the successful attainment of California's 50% recycling mandate. She also served as a member of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Board 2012 program, and was appointed to the Good Neighbor Environmental Board by the U.S. Secretary of Interior. And in 2001, she was appointed by President George W. Bush and unanimously confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Ms. Marín served as the 41st Treasurer of the United States, where she had oversight of the U.S. Mint and Bureau of Engraving and Printing. She championed the U.S. Treasury's financial literacy outreach program, focusing especially on 10 million unbanked Americans. Her signature accomplishment as a member of the Partnership for Prosperity efforts between the U.S. and Mexico was the significant reduction of the cost of remittances. In addition, she served on the White House Commission on Educational Excellence for Hispanic Americans. Ms. Marín was first elected to Huntington Park City Council in 1994 and served through 2001. Her tough on crime and position and the cleaning of the business district were rewarded by her overwhelming re-election in 1999. She was later elected president of the League of California City Mayors and Council Department, and she served as the vice president for the League's Latino Caucus. Her dedication to state service began under Governor Pete Wilson in February 1992 as the chief of legislative affairs at the Department of Developmental Services, where she successfully shepherded the reform of the system for California with developmental disabilities and the governor's implementation of the Early Intervention Services Act. Her work continued as the chair of the State Council on Developmental Disabilities, where she secured the continuation of federal funding for that state's program. As an assistant deputy director on the Department of Social Services, Ms. Marín was instrumental to the development of California's welfare reform plan. She also served as Deputy Director of the government's Office on Community Relations, where she was the Spanish spokesperson for the government in his liaison in California's growing Latino population. In 1995, for her tireless work on behalf of the persons of developmental disabilities, Ms. Marín was awarded the Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy Prize by the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. Foundation at the United Nations. She was only the second person to receive the honor. Ms. Marín had held numerous leadership positions with nonprofit boards. Her current services on the board of Hispanics 100, Republican National Committee Hispanics Advisory Board, Future Majority Advisory Board. She is former member of the Special Olympics International Board of Directors and the National Association of Latino Elected Officials and the Hispanic Leadership Network, president of the Independent Cities Risk Management Authority, chair of the Southeast Community Development Corporation, member of the Southeast Water Coalition. In addition, she was appointed California Film Commissioner, member of the Multicultural Committee by the Administration on Developmental Disabilities, and alternate to the Almada Corridor Joint Power Authority. Furthermore, she has been a member of Board of Governments of Community, Mission, and Lincoln Hospitals, Board of Member of Minority Organ Tissues Transplant Education Program, member of the National Association Latino Elected Officials, board member of HOPE, Hispanics Organized for Political Equality. Ms. Marín received her bachelor's art degree of Business Administration from California State University in Los Angeles and completed the program for senior executives in state and local government at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. For her contributions, she has been awarded 4 honorary doctorate degrees from CSULA, Whitner College, St. Francis University, and Wilbury University, where her husband of 36 years, Alvaro Marín, and her 3 children, Eric, Carmen, and Whitford. She resides in Huntington Park, California. Let's give a round of applause to the 31st Treasurer of the United States, Rosario Marín.
Wow. Well, after that introduction, I'm just going to stay here and let you admire me. Thank you, Ruby. Muchísimas gracias. Juan Manuel, gracias. Gracias de corazón. Y agradecerte por la visión que tienes, no nada más para ti, sino para todos los latinos en esta área y el impacto que podemos tener a nivel nacional. Gracias. I want to thank Juan Manuel. It's just amazing when you think about what his vision is, not just for him and the Latinos in this area, but more importantly, for the impact that Latino business owners can have at the national level. And so, thank you so very much, Juan Manuel. Que Dios te bendiga. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I do want to thank especially 2 people. One is my very good friend, Adriana Boyne, that she said when they were looking for speakers, she says, I know somebody. So thank you, Adriana. Thank you for your efforts as well. And thank you. And then I also want to thank a very good friend of mine who actually doesn't live in Dallas. He actually comes from Houston. And he has had the enormous privilege of being at the local, state, and national president of the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. So Masi Villarreal, my friend, friend in the trenches, warriors together in the Republican, I don't know how many Democrats are here, but we deal in the trenches of the Republican effort. And Masi is somebody who I admire, and I thank you very much for being here. He came from Houston just to listen to me because he hasn't listened enough. So thank you, Masi. Please feel free to eat. I know that you all have businesses to attend, so please just, I know you're not ignoring me, but go ahead and enjoy the food. When I'm asked to come in and speak, I go around the world speaking about all kinds of different things. But when Juan Miguel asked me to talk to you about my story more than anything else, because he feels my story is the story of everybody here at this table. Whether you are an immigrant or you were born here, I trust that after you listen to what I say, you also feel like me that if you're going to make it anywhere, you're going to make it in the United States. That this, in fact, is the greatest nation in the world, where someone like me, who couldn't even speak English when she was 14 years old, when she came to this country, could rise to be the treasurer of the greatest nation in the world. And so when I've had many privileges, I've been the first of many things. And when I was asked to write my story, I said, Simon & Schuster wanted to give me a contract to write my story. And I said, it's not even my first language. It's going to be a little bit difficult. But lo and behold, if you're going to do something, you do it sooner rather than later. So I said, okay, I will write my story. And so I wrote a book. It's called Living Between Two Worlds. And many people think that the title was because I was born in Mexico, and the other world is the United States. And actually, it's a play in words. Living Between Two Worlds is the two worlds that we all walk in, that we all live in. And it is the world of failure, but also the world of success. It is the world of poverty and the world of abundance. It is the world of fear and frightening, and it's the world of courage. It is the world of loneliness and sadness, and it's the world of happiness and joy. In those two worlds, we all walk in those worlds. And so I'll share a little bit of my story. I was born in Mexico, and my parents came to the United States because, quite frankly, my dad knew that if he stayed in Mexico, junior high was all that we were going to be able to achieve. I come from a very poor family. When my dad came here to the United States, he came to work for we came here legally. We're very blessed. We came here legally. At that time, there were programs where companies